So having that kind of surrender and humility allows you to also maybe acknowledge that, like, not only do I not have it all figured out, but maybe something else has it figured out, and that's the thing that I'm surfing. That's the wave that's carrying me that I've never given any credit to. I just call that life and the way things go.
Yeah, I really resonate with that. When I coach people or even just my own process, a lot of the times we have this sort of vision of where we want to get to, and we think it's like this linear path. But usually what we want, well, there's what we think we want, and then what we actually want to feel can sometimes be totally different things. But the pathway to either usually involves a deconstruction of your current reality. But no one wants to go through that. No one wants to sort of bear witness to things falling apart, like your house burning down. It could be the most liberating thing that ever happens to someone, but in the moment, it's the worst thing ever. And no one ever plans for that in their 10-year plan. But when you surrender to the process and you have that awareness, okay, like this is what's happening right now, we have to go with this. It's a hard thing to embody and practice, but it's something that I've seen time and time again, only looking back, saying like, oh, these hard moments were actually the most important and beneficial things that have ever happened to me. But I hate going through them. And then like when I get into like a really like high point in my life where things are just cruising, it's like I know something's around the corner. That's going to sort of just like shake things up a bit, throw a spoke in the wheels, because it's time to grow a little bit more. And I never want to welcome it, but when it comes, it's like, okay, like this is my dharma. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is part of my path that I could have never planned and made any 10-year plan. And I've tried the 10-year plans, 5-year plans, these vision boards, and they never happen the way you plan them to happen.
Nailed it.
Maybe year one starts a little bit going. And so now I just focus on like, how do I want to feel? Because that's something that's tangible that I know. And I know when I feel that way. And so sometimes I realize like all these things that I thought were necessary to make me feel that way, I don't even need those things. So I can move into that feeling by having conversations with friends, by having an experience, by traveling, by getting out of my comfort zone, doing something different, where I don't need crap or material things or money to then buy these experiences, where most of the time you have access to it already. And then when you are feeling the way you don't want to feel, it's like being able to sort of bear witness to that and see the power in the emotions that are just trying to guide you. Think, hey, there's a program here that no longer serves you. Okay, so let's not push it away. Let's bring awareness to it. Let's take a deep breath. Let's change our thought patterns. Just say, hey, what's this trying to show me? And is this true? And if it's not true, it's like, okay, like, thank you for the awareness. Thank you for being a powerful teacher. I acknowledge you. And I don't need to sort of deal with that anymore. I don't need to give strength or power to that. I'm going to move somewhere else in a different direction and refocus my energy into something that I want to sort of bring awareness and energy to.
You know what I love is you're talking about Wim Hof as somebody who's like, he's showing people that you can do what you once called the unimaginable. Like, oh, I could never do that. And he's like, bullshit, breathe, motherfucker. Like, come on. Like you not have this inside you, but it wants to come out.
He's showing it in such a very visceral way. I think that's what's so powerful. I mean, you see this dude half naked on the top of a mountain or an ice bath, even if you're the most skeptical person, you're like, what's going on here? And I thought this guy would have hypothermia and be probably dying by now from what I'm looking at. And then the scientists coming in and verifying and going, yeah, he actually is physiologically able to control and regulate things we thought were automatic and adjust temperatures internally. What's going on here? We don't really know. But and that's why I think it was so important for him when he did get that verification from science to go, yeah, there is some real serious temperature changes going on here, and we had to reassess everything we've known.
Totally. I mean, things that they didn't even expect, which was, they injected people with E. coli, and the same breath work that helps you get warm. I shouldn't say it helps you get warm. Actually, what it does is it helps you command a part of what they call the autonomic nervous system when previously you weren't able to. And I think that comes through the hypnagogic state you can put yourself in to help you believe more of what you're capable in, rather than the conditioning of the outside world and the times we're living in. And you're definitely right, Gordo. Like, the science made it more real for other people. So like, I always go back to Roger Bannister. He broke the 4-minute mile when all the scientists, all the doctors were saying impossible. Your lungs would collapse, your knees would cave in, like all that kind of crap. And he did it. He survived. And then the next 3 months, somebody else did it, and then now thousands of people.
Would that be considered the 100 monkey effect, or is that only when
I think that's
when it spreads without independent of one another to different places?
That's probably more of that. And I think that has some merit to it, that concept. Right. This is more of the placebo. It's like the superhuman placebo, where it's like, if you like, I mean, who'd have thought you could teach yourself to echolocate if you go blind, or you don't even have to go blind. So like Daniel Kish went blind at the age of 5. He's riding bikes now and drawing things that he's seeing as he echolocates. Oh, by the way, he can see around curves. You kidding me? Like, that's a superpower. Like, there should be comic books about this.
Well, there is. It's Daredevil,
right? Right. Well, exactly.
Real life.
Exactly. You know, taught himself to echolocate. And then a woman who's not blind, Ellen Boudreau, but she's on the autistic spectrum, also taught herself to echolocate. She's an incredible musician and incredible at math, you know? So like, there's something dormant within all of us that's beyond what we could have imagined before. But I think maybe the dark path, I wouldn't even call it the bad path, the dark path, the path of like a harder lesson for you to learn, is by learning that you can command stuff before you realize what the impact of it means to other people, to the environment. You know, like, that's, I think, the basis of all the stories of genies and stuff like that. Be careful what you wish for, because, by the way, you're a magician, albeit maybe immature and unaware of what you're capable of. But that genie is inside you. Be careful what you want to manifest, because, by the way, you've been manifesting it all along. So beware of the thoughts and the words and the categories that you place on things, and also know when you can use this category as a way to communicate, but let it go every now and then. Dissociate from it so you remember what it's like. You know, I know a lot of people that went deep down any rabbit hole you could imagine, eventually noticed the byproduct of it, which is, I found it harder to talk to other people. You ever notice that? Doesn't matter what rabbit hole. It could be conspiracy, or it could be spirituality, or it could be something metaphysical, something that somebody knows there's merit to, but then they get so locked in it that they start losing the ability to have the casual, normal, conventional, disassociated conversations. So, I mean, shit, there's a lot, there's Make sure y'all head over to benjosephstewart.com, become a member. You'll have access to the growing library of deeper dives, where I talk about all the stuff that I really can't talk about on YouTube. Make sure you get involved in the Discord chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening, talking about new theories, being able to interweave into the greater conversation that is how we awaken infinity. That's our highest potential. And I just want to remind you, you are the most powerful technology ever known to creation. Wield it like an artist with a conscience.